Okay, another camera comparison, this time with two of the top dogs in the mobile industry, the Galaxy S23 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro. The camera setup of the iPhone 14 Pro is the same as the 14 Pro Max, so the results will be the same. Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. This one is a front-facing camera, 4K, 60 frames per second. Let's check the background and the clouds in the background. So 4K, 60 frames per second. Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. And now let's check the stabilization. 4K, 60 frames per second, front-facing camera. Okay, let's now do the 4K 30 frames per second. 4K 30 frames per second, Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. 4K 30 frames per second. Let me start panning around here. So 4K 30 frames per second, Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. Let me keep panning around. So as usual, so you can check how they both perform in different angles. And going to move in this direction again. So 4K 30 frames per second, Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. Okay, let's now do the 1080p 60 frames per second. 1080p 60 frames per second, Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. Let me move in this direction. 1080p, I better go this way. 1080p 60 frames per second, Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. Let me start panning around here. So Galaxy, you can see better dynamic range on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. And let me stretch my hands a little bit more. So look at the sky here with the walls of the houses. So yeah, better dynamic range on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. But you let me know what you think. Okay, let's now do the 1080p 30 frames per second. 1080p 30 frames per second, Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro. A little bit windy today, but hopefully it won't affect the audio too much. Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro, 1080p 30 frames per second. Let me finish crossing the road, and now let me start panning around here again. So Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro, this time at 1080p 30 frames per second. See there, let's check the background here. So I still think that the dynamic range is better on the S23 Ultra. Let's see here in the this part here of the sky with the houses. But once again, you let me know what you think.